What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. My special guest, Sam Robinson, is here, editor-in-chief of Western Herald. Man, what's up, man?
I'm doing pretty good, Manny. How we doing? I missed the class we have together yesterday.
I know.
I slept in.
I peeped, man.
And that's the second time I've missed, so I can't miss anymore.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. You ain't missed nothing. This is the Taboo Topics section, by the way. Yeah. Just in case you listening, you like, what the hell are they talking about? That's why it's Taboo Topics. We talk about anything. But yeah, man, you ain't missed nothing during that section. It was just review. You know, midterms is about to arrive, so next week. That's all it was, really, man.
How do you feel about that the break that we get? All right, what year are you? Yeah, what year are you?
I'm third year right now.
Yeah, so you had 1 year without a fall break, right?
Yeah.
First year, and then.
I remember. Bro, I honestly.
Last year was the first year of a fall break.
I really don't even remember. Like, it just be whatever. I really just be trying to get stuff done.
I know.
I'm like, let's get through this semester. Let's knock it out. Let's do this. I just be trying to get stuff done, bro. Like, I don't even be paying attention to, damn, we had this last year. But people let me know, and then it's like really, it's pleasing sometimes.
Yeah, we get a full week off, which I don't think all the public universities in the state of Michigan get that. So,
that's what's up. I mean,
what are you about to be on for a week of no school?
I'm trying to work, bro. I'm trying to get some money, man. And so I'm most likely be working and just kicking it at the crib. Hopefully eating good. I hope my folks fix some good food. Talk to some of the folks back home, man. Some of my friends, all that, man. You? What about you?
I'll probably be right up in here. I'll definitely be working still.
Hey, my boy Sam be busy, by the way.
Fall break,
my guy Sam really be busy.
Fall break is not gonna stop the news, so that's always gonna keep coming. What will I do? I hope the library is still open. I gotta catch up on some. Probably gonna be studying all break. I haven't been doing a lot of that, as you can tell by my not going to class.
But man, honestly, you already got experience for that class, so you really don't. You don't. My guy done wrote all kind of stuff. And speaking of that, that actually brings up the question that I wanted to ask you. Because you wrote for so many, covered many different stories. What was like your favorite story that you've covered?
Well, I have a few different answers for this question.
Okay, sure. Give them to me.
I think my favorite one that I've ever done was on Jared Prenti and Seth Dugan.
I know who that is.
Yeah, Seth is a now former Western Michigan basketball player, big center from Otsego, however you pronounce that, that town. And then Jared Prenti is not from the state of Michigan. I'm forgetting where he's from right now. But they did a podcast, which I don't know if they still do it. I think Jared's down in Kansas or something, when he goes home. So I don't know if they still do it, but they had it was a fun little podcast. Like, I would listen, they would have, just people from Western Michigan Athletics come on and be guests. Like, they'd have the SID come on, and it was really fun. It was a great story that made. But I think the most fun, the most adrenaline story, the most interesting one was last year. I don't know if you remember our track and field and cross country coach.
I don't. I really don't.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, but inform me.
He was placed on administrative leave, and nobody knew why. Both, I think, us and Channel 3 and Wood TV 8 over in Grand Rapids, we did a FOIA request. So we FOIA'd the university as to say what happened.
Right.
And it was just because of our connections within the university. I think it's just our proximity because we're students that we were able to find out what actually happened. And what actually happened was this white male track coach, he'd been there for 16, 17 years, and apparently had a repeated history of stuff like this, but told two black athletes not to say the N-word while using the N-word himself.
Oh, wow.
So that's what...
Buddy was wild, and I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, he was, and what was interesting is we received that information I think a week before we reported on it, just because we wanted to be safe because we couldn't. It was anonymous sourcing, and we didn't want to
So did he get fired?
Cover our back. So he got fired, and the reason he got fired, they could have. What they were expecting, what I was expecting, was they would delay the FOIA request 5 days. That's usually what happens. But after we, told the university we have this information, we're ready to report on it.
That's what's up.
Kathy Beauregard, the athletic director, released the FOIA released Kathy's letter to the track coach, the former track coach.
Damn, bro.
And pretty much confirming our report. I mean,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. That do sound like it was fun as hell.
I mean, yeah, it was.
And all of that, like, get the information and be like, damn, they're investigating and stuff because you got to write the story on it. So that do sound like it was a really fun time.
It was, yeah, it definitely was. That was probably my most impactful story here at Western Michigan.
What about Global? Because you wrote for the Rolling Stones before.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You did Rolling Stones. You covered Kanye when Kanye. Right, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
As I'm stating and stuff, you covered Kanye when he was out in Detroit for that event. You know what it is more than I do.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I really don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that was really interesting. That was a couple weekends ago, and I've been doing some freelancing on like the whole narrative, the Kim and Kanye nonsense BS stuff, and it's good. I mean, people love to read about it, so it gets good clicks.
My lady let her watch that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, even if it's I don't think it's Kanye and Kim exactly that she likes to watch, but just, I don't know, man. Like YouTube dramas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not into it, but she is.
Man, the YouTubers are like, that's the biggest genre of thing. Yeah, like that's where like people
rich on YouTube.
And like they'll have the whole like relationships channels, and they break up and everything, and then they create their own channel, and then
I seen it was a video on Instagram. It was like a meme called people who do that, and it was basically just showing people they were acting it out, and they were like how YouTube couples are like all lovey-dovey 2 weeks, and then a month later it's like I hate you, and then they're just doing stuff for the internet, showing out and all that kind of stuff.
You know who's up in and I think somebody mentioned it last night, I don't know, but G Herbo and his girl, is that his baby mama? What
yeah,
is
his baby mama.
Yeah. That's so, man, people would always be talking about them, man. They like the new Kim and Kanye of our generation, bro. Like people are always talking about them.
Bro, I don't know. I don't even follow them like that.
Me neither. Yeah, me neither. I unfollowed the Shade Room, bro, because they would post too much of that.
Shade Room is
toxic. It is. It really is toxic, man. It really is toxic, man. But yeah, that was an interesting opportunity to be able to go. I went to the Sunday service in Chicago 2 weeks earlier. I wasn't able to go to the Sunday service in Detroit.
Okay, cool.
But I was able to. I got tickets and able to go hear his album that he still hasn't released, and we don't know.
He said he was dropping.
Said he's gonna release it.
Ago or something.
He can keep it. My personal opinion, as I'm not reporting on it anymore. Album wasn't good. There was 2 good songs. There was a song with Pierre Bourne. Was really good. It was just hard. Like okay. And then there was a song had like a little soul sample. You could tell he's trying to get in his little old new bag. But nah, it wasn't it. His last album was bad too. So
Sam, you're my source now, man. You are now my music source for Kanye on this topic. So my source says that the album wasn't good.
No, there was 2 good songs. There was 7 bad songs. So
that's too many damn songs. That's bad.
Yeah, that's I think why he hasn't released it yet. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't listening to no album all the way through. If it's 7 bad songs, oh my gosh.
Nah, there was one. The first song was like it was okay. It was more he was doing the little singing auto tune thing, and the 2 songs after that was like, God dang, dude, this is hard. And then got all our hopes up for nothing. So,
but I'm gonna be honest.
We'll see.
The last album he dropped, I don't remember the name of it because I don't listen to it like that. And I listened to it like once or twice, but it was only 2 songs that I liked.
Yeah, it wasn't that great.
I wasn't feeling it.
There was one song I liked off that album.
Kind of garbage, bro. It was kind of garbage, and I just wasn't feeling it. So, I'm not too surprised that he not coming with something that's real hot, but I hope he changing stuff up, add some deluxe songs on there, whatever. I don't know,
man. We'll see. It's about to be done with, and that's the thing is like people are always gonna talk about this. He's always gonna cover it. Every time he talks about politics, it's gonna be a big thing. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see. I'm more waiting on like I could take a little Uzi album before I could get a Kanye album.
I don't listen to Uzi, bro.
Man, I like Uzi, man. I'm still listening to Uzi. I could take a Jay-Z album. He's still growing his hair out.
Come on, man. You know I love Jay-Z.
Yeah, I could take that.
Yet, but
444 was like my favorite album of the last 2 years, bro.
Facts on there, bro. He was giving game. What did he say? He said something about charging y'all $10.99 for stuff that's worth over $1 million or something like that.
Yes, man.
I don't remember the exact lyric, but it was something in that category. I changed the words up a little bit, but Jay-Z made it sound.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Man. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Talking about Story of OJ.
Man, he was going crazy, bro. He was going crazy that whole album. But anyway, so I'm a part of the National Association for Black Journalists. I think you are as well, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, you going to the convention in Dallas next year?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it out. This year I couldn't make it out because of work actually, but
damn,
I know, right? I know.
Did you go to the one in Miami last year?
No, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, I didn't get to make it out. Okay. It was in Detroit year previous. It was interesting. Zoe Jackson, one of our news reporters, was out there 2 years ago and actually met Chance the Rapper, which was interesting.
Yeah, bro, I heard. I haven't been to any. I actually just joined over the summer.
Okay.
So when I joined, they were already like setting stuff up to go to Miami. Like damn, they're in place. Like it was too late for me to go.
Yeah.
I had the money anyway, to be honest. So I wasn't really tripping about it, but I heard it was just so much. I heard it's so many people like to connect with, and I heard it's so many people to just meet and like that's in the same field as you. It's amazing.
It's a good. Zoe really loved her experience. She went to the one in she's been to 2 of those events. I've only been to 1, so
that's cool, man. I gotta
in New Orleans in 2017. She went, so that would have been real fun. I can imagine being down there. I still haven't been to New Orleans, so I'm trying to go.
Have you been anywhere down south?
I mean Florida, Texas, Atlanta. I've been to Atlanta a lot. So.
I've been to Atlanta too, man. I loved Atlanta when I went down. I was only down there for like 4 days. It was cool, man. Really? I enjoyed it. It wasn't like really hot when I went, like too hot, like in terms of weather. It's for people to understand, it wasn't too hot in terms of weather. But it was cool, man. I loved it. I just loved the atmosphere and all.
You see their new stadium, their Mercedes-Benz?
I did not see it, bro. That's it is
insane. It is insane, man.
I'm a Falcons fan.
Oh, okay, I see you. Yeah,
it's right over there. I'm gonna have to shoot out there to go see my Falcons.
When I was
been doing good. But.
They man, I'll tell you what. When I was down in Atlanta the last time, it was I was working with Western Michigan's football team, and they played Georgia State. They played Georgia State this year at home, but 2 years ago they played Georgia State in Atlanta. Right. And Georgia State plays in the Atlanta Braves' old stadium, Turner Field. Okay. And we went up top. I was like doing video stuff, so we were up top, and you could see the Mercedes-Benz Dome like from where it was not only just the biggest like. It was like the Jerry, like, you know what I'm saying, the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry World of the South. Like,
you been down there? You been to Jerry World?
Nah, man. Have not seen it.
I don't like the Cowboys. But
me neither. I hate the Cowboys.
I gotta go just to experience like that football moment because it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys. It's America's team, even though it's not really America's team because they don't really win nothing.
No.
But I just want to go down there just to get that atmosphere of the craziness and the insane mentally football fans. Just it's ridiculous. I don't know.
They get a lot of fans in that building, man. Bro, they get like big house numbers. Like they get like 90,000 people in there.
That's crazy. They make so much money too, so it damn near don't even matter that they're not winning.
No, it really doesn't.
It's like the Knicks.
You're talking about the America's team. There's American media's team. I mean, the media is going to talk about them all the time, nonstop, no matter what. Yeah, the Knicks, man, they need help, man. Did you see Kevin Durant's interview with Hot 97?
Yeah, he was talking about him.
Oh, my gosh. This is not good. They need to restart. I know, they need to restart. Their owner needs to get rid of that.
Bro, that makes me think. I got to bring it up because the Knicks, bro. Did you see when Marquise Morris, I don't know.
Marcus is with the Knicks now.
Yeah, he's with the Knicks. Did you see what he did to my man? He threw the ball at his head.
Oh, yeah, bonk. He just bonk. Bro, he got ejected for that, too. You see that?
Bro, that was the funniest moment ever, bro.
He really tried to hit him with the elbow and then just bonk.
Bro, he literally just, it was a blank, bro. It was so funny. It was so funny. And his excuse for it was, I told y'all, we're the Knicks. We're not going. We're bringing back that hardcore stuff.
He said that. He's like,
I loved it.
I'm not gonna let anybody come in here and disrespect us. That's what he said.
I'm like, I loved it. I love how he's supporting the Knicks, and I love how much of a fan and how much he's trying to bring back that old New York Knicks culture. But I'm like, bro,
it ain't gonna work.
The Knicks are terrible. I'm like, they're not.
It ain't gonna work.
And then you got Brooklyn. In the same state, they going crazy. They
can take over New York realistically, because who's really going out, like really? Like, if you're our age, bro, what do you have to cheer for with the Knicks? I feel like that's you'd be easily swayed over like those football fans in Los Angeles. Like you'd be easily a good team comes in there, starts winning. Like okay, I'm a fan of this now. Like yeah.
And bro, I said this. I was like, the Knicks should just rebrand. Like damn the Knicks. Like you remember how if there were teams like. For an example, the New Orleans or Hornets, Charlotte, whatever they was before the Pelicans became the Pelicans. Whatever they were, they ended up just rebranding, changing everything, changing the name, changing the colors, and they just kept the same city. Like, if anything, that's what the Knicks should do. That's what they need. Well,
they need to get sold. Their owner James Dolan doesn't know what he's doing.
Nobody wants to play for James Dolan at all. Bro.
No.
Yeah, he mistreats his old players. He mistreats the fans. I don't know who else he mistreats in his inside life, but
I could guess.
On the outside, we see all kind of bad stuff happening, bro.
Man, oh man.
It's like, he needs to go because nobody wants to play for him at all.
No, and you hit on the nail of the head. Like, I remember a couple years ago, Charles Oakley was in there yelling at James Dolan. Yeah, I remember that whole bout.
Dude, he put blood, sweat, and tears for your organization, and you kick him out the arena? Yeah, I'm like, man. And then he tried, I don't know if you heard about it, he tried to ban fans from attending Knicks games because they said he need to sell a team. They were
I saw that.
Sell a team, and he trying to ban them. I'm like, come on, man, that's not cool at all. Like, you should be able to take stuff like that if you're an owner of a team and you know your team is doing bad and has been doing bad for the last 3 decades or whatever.
Because if he doesn't know that, then oh man,
he got some mental problems. Because everybody done let him know.
That's right.
So I just don't understand it. But I really feel like they should just rebrand. Cancel the Knicks. Become, I don't know what other team names y'all want to come up with, but
the New York Apples.
Yeah, New York, anything, bro. New York plastic cups, whatever, man. What's your name on Twitter? The what would you say?
Sam Drinks Water. It's on Instagram.
New York water drinkers, whatever the hell they want to make it, bro. Like, they just need to rebrand it because nobody's loving the Knicks, and they're in New York. They got the right city to do it, so it's not like that.
Bro, the Knicks are done, man. The Knicks are really done. And they used to talk about that, like, oh, move the Pistons. I'm like, no.
But I'm glad they did, though. They moved them back to Detroit because I started getting pissed off as a Pistons fan. Like, bro, Auburn Hills is not Detroit. That's not Detroit. That's too far for a Pistons fan who lives in Detroit to be driving 2 or 3 times during the week. Like, man, we got work. You got stuff to do in the morning. The game's starting at night. Like, no, that's far. That's very far.
You from the city?
Yeah, I'm from. I lived in Inkster.
Okay.
I have family out in Detroit, and I lived in Belleville. Like,
Belleville.
Mostly that entire Metro Detroit area. Yeah. I'm very familiar.
You know Gabby Spears? She's from Belleville.
Did she go to the high school?
Yeah, she goes to Western.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, designer, right? Fashion designer. Yeah. She's cool peeps, man. She's definitely cool peeps.
I used to work with her at Champs. Shout out to Champs Sporting Goods.
Hey, man, I don't get no free promotion. I don't get no free promotion at Champs.
Honestly, nah. I'm being facetious, man. Champs, not the best place to work. If you like shoes and like a discount, then you can go up in there. But
this is the place to talk about that, bro. This is the Taboo Topics section. You can talk about whatever we want to talk about.
You been in retail stores lately, bro? They have the same things for the last 7 years.
I have not. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I do a lot of shopping online.
Yeah.
And
yeah. If you know your shoe size, then you're good.
Yeah, and I hit a lot of stores for the low, bro. Like,
I feel that.
TJ Maxx. I'm gonna put y'all on game, bro. Like the TJ Maxxes and the Marshalls and the Burlington Coat Factories, bro. You could really find some nice stuff there.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, but you really can.
Anyway, man. So I'm a student in journalism. You're a student in journalism as well. So when did you understand that, or when did you realize that you wanted to be a journalism student? Because if I'm correct, didn't you change your major?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So
what was your major?
I'm here for 5 years because this is my 5th year. I'll graduate in the spring.
Okay, cool.
Because I came to Western as a business advertising student, and I didn't really like the business college.
Right.
It was real stuffy. Like, it was real, like, everyone was just there because,
it's business.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want to be salespeople. They want to do finance, stuff like that. I wasn't into that. Not saying that I won't ever have to do sales of any kind, because I would imagine probably will eventually in my life. Maybe not.
I mean, but a lot of people don't realize it, but you don't need to go to school to do sales.
No. Like, no one needs to do that. Like, they'll tell you what to say. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell everybody, if
they will tell you what to say.
Yeah, they will give you a whole prompt to review and practice. So I worked in sales for like 2 weeks. But I'll tell you that in a second. But if you're in college and business and you're going to school for sales, you need to rethink your plan in terms of you need to rethink that 5-year plan for sure.
I mean, or just, really think that you're going to be the best salesman ever and really try to soak up and learn. Because you know how people be going to school just to do it, and then they get out there and it's like, oh, my degree wasn't at all useful to what I'm doing right now.
Salespeople, go read The Way of the Wolf by the guy who played the Wolf on Wall Street.
There you go.
I can't remember his actual name right now, but you seen that movie? Jordan Belfort, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Belfort, Way of the Wolf. Go read it. He'll put you on all kind of game that you can't even pay for. So, yeah, go read that. But go ahead, Sam, man. Continue, man. I'm sorry.
Man, I'm yawning out here.
Yeah, man.
I'm tired,
Let's
dude.
get this energy up, Sam.
Listen.
Come on, man.
Listen, WIDR, Kalamazoo people.
Hey, this is the run.
It's not a walk.
Energy. But that's why it's the run, because we're on a run, man. I'm just glad you stopped by while you were on a run. Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, I hated the business college. The business college is probably better than the School of Communication here, just so if you guys are wondering.
It's definitely nice, I can tell you that.
But I just didn't like the atmosphere of it. People were real stuffy, real thought they were better than everybody else. I'm not. So I went to the School of Communication and did journalism. Yes. We got some good professors over at the School of Comm, some people that really will care about your future and your career.
That is true.
So, yeah, I think the moment, I don't know, I've always liked to write. Like, I was always writing. I would write for, Pistons blogs. Like, shout out to pistonspowered.com.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up.
I need to start doing writing again for that because the NBA season is here.
Yeah, and we about to kick it in the gear, man. Pistons, we going to, look, some people may think I'm crazy for saying the Pistons going to get a championship in the next 10 years.
I think it's possible, yeah. It's definitely possible.
It's going to happen, bro. It's going to happen.
I think
we're switching it around.
It's going to be different once Blake's contract is over. Like, because obviously... Yeah, but Drummond's gone. Like, I would think...
What? You think he's gone?
I think he's gone. And I like Drummond. I'm not a Drummond hater at all.
I'm kind of a Drummond hater.
Well, I think, if you didn't have Drummond on your team, you wouldn't have rebounds. Like, you would have no big man. They rely on Drummond so hard that they put Markieff Morris as the backup center. Like,
yes, that's so true, man. And see, my thing with Drummond is I'm not a huge fan, but I respect his game.
Yeah,
because he's kind of like an old school center. Like, I'm going to get down in the paint, and my job is to rebound, but I feel like before Dwayne Casey got here, he didn't understand that was only his job. Because when we had the guy I don't like, I can't remember.
Stan Van.
Yeah, Stan Van Gundy. Yep. We had him in the front office and coaching. He was trying to put everything through Drummond. Like, Drummond could score the ball and had post moves and dribble. Like, nah, man, that's not Drummond. So therefore, Drummond would have to play out of his position, and it was no good. He wasn't good at doing that because he was in the league for rebounding and playing defense in the paint. So it was like, man, and when you're trying to force him to do something that's not rebounding or playing defense in the paint, then of course he's going to look bad at doing it if he's not skilled enough.
That is so true, and that's what I watched when I would watch Drummond on Giannis, I think last playoff. Like, they would stick him, I know, and it's just like, dude, he's not a freaking...
An embarrassment.
3 or 4. Like, come on, why you say, like, you're really expecting him, and like they would do with Thon, or they would do with... Who did they stick on him? They didn't have Stanley Johnson back then because they traded him, so they would put I don't even remember who they had on him. Blake played in like two or three of those games in that playoff series. Man, oh man, that was not pretty, bro. That was not good.
It's tough too because we can't put all the pressure on Blake. So like that's why I was happy we got D Rose and Joe Johnson. I know they're a little bit older than when they were like in their prime.
Yeah.
But they're still like good ball players and they still got a good IQ. So it's gonna spread throughout the team. So I'm like, that's gonna help alone just having other people where we can take just a little bit of pressure off of Blake Griffin. Because he was out there doing it all last year, man. I felt bad for him at one point because I'm just like...
Oh, yeah, I think everybody kind of felt bad for Blake. I mean...
like, we just working.
He was, like, the unsung, most valuable player in the league. Like, and that's, like, nobody's putting up Blake Griffin numbers. He's the most underrated player in the league by so far because he's just playing in Detroit. He had the best season of his career.
With the numbers, what was the numbers looking like? If you can pull it up, or if you got
it. I mean, he was like 27, 7, and 5. Like, it was more like 4 assists, but yeah.
That's solid numbers, and then it definitely hurt us when he couldn't play in the playoffs. So
I mean, yeah, and that's been his thing,
his injuries.
Yeah, all his career. I was looking up this guy, this writer who Detlef Shrimp. I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him, but he's an NBA writer, and yeah. And he says NBA basketball is going to be really exciting. You mentioned Pistons are going to win a championship in the next 10 years, right?
For sure.
He said, okay, 2020 predictions. He said, okay, this is really difficult. I'm going to go and go wild and say it's going to be Detroit in the finals from the East. How about that?
In 2020?
In 2019-20.
Oh, 20.
This year. He's trying to tell me that the Detroit basketball Pistons are going to be in the NBA finals. They're going to beat Philadelphia, Toronto, and Milwaukee.
What's my man's name?
Detlef Schrempf. Detlef Schrempf.
I'm sorry, bro, but look, I love the Pistons, and I have the utmost support in the Pistons, but you are out your damn mind.
No, it's out of their mind.
Sorry, bro.
Ain't going to be no Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals.
No way.
Probably not going to be a Pistons in the second round of the playoffs in the East.
That's what
they can win a couple games.
Like, that's what we're hoping.
They can win a couple games because they haven't won a game, man. They haven't won a game since 2008, bro. They have not won a playoff game in over a decade, and like it's getting to the it's getting to almost 15 years. It's been like 12 years.
I can't believe he said that nonsense, bro. Like, man,
yeah, I
love the Pistons.
I know,
but I can promise you we're not winning this year.
Nothing.
I can promise you, we do not have the fuel. We do not have the team.
No,
we don't have. No,
you would have Andre Drummond have to go start making those threes. You see that air ball that he had?
To start playing like KD in order to win a championship.
They ain't not gonna come out of the East, man. The East, people stop disrespecting the Eastern Conference too right now. You saw Ben Simmons just made a 3 last night, right? Like, it's over, baby. It's over. Ben Simmons just made a 3. Shut the NBA down. Philadelphia just won the NBA championship.
It killed me because they was acting like they won a championship.
They really were. Like, they were the memes. Everyone was laughing at him, bro. I'd be so embarrassed if I was him.
Bro, I would have been pissed. I ain't gonna lie.
I know. Everyone was sarcastically cheering at him. That was funny.
Like, have you ever seen that meme where Ben Simmons was like warming up, shooting threes, and then everybody was putting like the dunk contest reactions?
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Was clapping. I'm like, that was real last night.
That really happened.
I'm like, that was literally real because that's how it was in Philly. People was throwing towels.
Yeah.
It was throwing towels.
Yeah.
Off of him making 1 3-pointer in the preseason.
So I think
like, bro,
it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't think Philadelphia is really gonna even be, and like this is gonna sound crazy, but I really do think Toronto's still better than Philadelphia right now.
I don't got Toronto doing that. I got Boston and
hell no.
Boston is sweet.
Boston's not even gonna make the playoffs, bro. Orlando is better than Boston to me.
What? Sam, come on, bro.
I don't like this Boston team. They're one.
No way.
Anyone can get injured off of that, and it's over, bro. They had Kyrie last year to like save them sometimes.
Bro, look, I'm about to explain.
They don't have Kyrie anymore, man.
They got Kemba Walker. Look, this is the problem.
He's gonna get hurt, bro.
No, how you gonna wish that on?
I'm just telling you.
But look, this was the problem with Boston last year. Last year, I blame completely Brad Stevens, bro. Mm-hmm. I don't blame Kyrie. I don't blame Jason Tatum. I don't blame Jaylen Brown.
I don't like Brad Stevens that much either.
And I blame Brad Stevens because, bro, on paper, that team was messing with the Warriors, bro.
Yeah,
on paper, that team could have beat the Warriors. Like, if you play 2K, or I know that's a video game, but
yeah, you can see
matchup, the Boston Celtics and the Warriors was a hell of a matchup.
Yeah.
But because Brad Stevens, his system that's connected with the Boston Celtics, that doesn't make every person who's a star player. It's the talent he had on that team was well beyond the system that he implemented into the Boston Celtics. He had Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum could ball, Jaylen Brown stepped his game up. They were all sweet, but the system was designed. I feel like the system was designed in the way when I watched it, it seemed like it was organized for players who don't have that much talent. It seemed like it was organized for average type of players. And because now you don't have to worry about Kyrie Irving being the definite leader on that team or being supposedly the best player on that team, and Gordon Hayward supposed to being his sidekick and being a great help, because you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of pressure off your shoulders, but at the end of the day, Brad Stevens got to figure out, he got to be able to tweak that system and be able to make it work for the talent that he has on that team, because everybody's became so much better. Like, we seen Jason Tatum improve, Jaylen Brown, and then Tony Rozier was an animal too, but he couldn't even showcase it because Brad Stevens didn't allow his system to, he didn't make those changes in his system to be able to make everyone thrive at what they're best at doing. And I'm like, as a coach, you got to be able to handle that. And as a coach, he got to be able to have that ego control, because you look at the Warriors, And all them damn stars they had on that team, especially when they got Boogie Cousins, KD, Clay, Steph, all that. Like,
no, Steve Kerr doesn't get credit for that at all. Yeah, like, truthfully,
that's why I say he's a great coach, because people underestimate the ego control, bro. The ego control.
And it even came out afterward with the Warriors. I mean, we all knew during the season that Kyrie hated all his teammates, but it finally comes out after the fact that, like, okay, KD really was disgruntled. Like, he didn't like, you know what I'm saying? And that's. For that not to leak, after every single day they got reporters coming in there being like, "Well, yo, what's good? What's it? You know,
drive it and bring that out of them." Yeah. So I'm like, man, you gotta give Steve Kerr his credit.
Really do. That's so true. Brad Stevens is, I mean, he's a little younger.
Messed up, bro.
Yeah, he really
messed up because he had the squad to do it.
He needs to let Gordon Hayward out of like that. The Gordon Hayward thing was so weird to me. How he kind of came off the bench a little bit, like.
Bro, I don't know if you heard, but Tony Rozier, he went on ESPN and he was talking about it. And he was saying, when I was playing, I feel like I wasn't able to thrive because certain players on the team, they were held to like a higher standard. They was held to like under the coach's wing, so I wasn't really able to thrive. And of course, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something around that area. Yeah. And another thing that was mentioned is because, and even watching the games, you could tell that Brad Stevens wanted Gordon Hayward to play so much better than what he was doing, but if Gordon Hayward wasn't playing better, if he wasn't playing better than
they gave him so much money, man.
Man, like if he wasn't playing as good as you thought he was gonna play, he needs to sit on the bench. Like you don't need to run your offense through him if he can't provide a type of game where it's worth running your offense through. Especially when you got other players on the team that has high talent. Like it's ridiculous, and I blame that completely on Brad Stevens. So. And even this season, the Celtics' success is based on Brad Stevens, bro, because they had the team. Like all they did really was, they did lose Al Horford as well.
Yeah,
they got Enes Kanter. They got Enes Kanter to help out. But
Horford's gonna be a big blow. I mean, I remember the days when they would have Horford bring the ball up the court, like literally.
And that threw me off, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You remember that? Like every possession, they would have Al Horford would be the point guard. Like he would set the play up before Kyrie, the year before Kyrie.
That really threw me off.
They were good when they had Isaiah Thomas. That's what they would do, and Isaiah would play off ball all the time. And that's I always wonder. I'm like, damn, people talking about, why is Isaiah Thomas? He's terrible. Let him be a little 5'9" shooting guard. Like let him come up. Like
it's all about really just putting players where they're most comfortable and where they're best, like where they're gonna provide the best results on the court. Like if your guard tell you or if Kyrie tell you, yo, Brad Stevens, put me at the 2 or put me on the wing so I can score when I touch the ball, rather than bringing it up and not passing it and then trying to make something shake. Then it's like, damn, he ain't gonna pass the ball.
I know, and then we're looking at Kyrie like, what are you doing?
Right. Versus if he catch the ball
on some Reggie Jackson stuff.
Yes, tell me. That's why I can't wait till Reggie is gone.
Man, don't talk about it. I will say before I head out of here, man.
Yeah, because you
talk about coaching. You talk about coaching. I will have my eye on the Detroit Pistons this year. If they do not let Luke Kennard free. Bro, he's low-key the best player on the team.
Like, the best guard we have.
Not even close. Like, not even close right now. Not even close. He's better than Reggie. He's younger than Derrick Rose. Luke Kennard needs to have his coming out season this year.
Oh, yeah, bro. Luke really has talent, bro.
He could average, 18 points a game in this league.
If he got the time and continue to, develop,
he's like a little Manu Ginobili, a straight-up all-star.
Yeah, I definitely believe if he went to a different team, they definitely put him to work. They definitely put him to work.
And that's, people always will talk about Donovan Mitchell.
I love Donovan Mitchell as well.
I really think, looking back on it, we're going to be like, man, that Donovan Mitchell, Luke Kennard, it wasn't as crazy as we thought. It wasn't as big of a difference as we thought because they were drafted right next to each other.
That is true.
Pistons could have had Donovan Mitchell.
And Donovan Mitchell gets way more clout. He gets way more clout.
Gets way more shots.
Yeah, shots as well.
That's what Luke Kennard needs to get.
He's on a bigger stage. He's on a bigger stage since he's going to the playoffs. And, he's doing his thing. He's definitely balling out, man.
Yes, sir.
Sam, I know you got to go, man. I really want to thank you, and I appreciate you coming in today, man. We definitely gonna make it happen again.
Yes, sir, we will.
But, I do appreciate you coming through on the run with Manny Wilson and my guest, Sam Robinson. We're going to move on. Go ahead and throw your social media out there, man.
Go ahead. Thank you guys listening to me for the last 45 minutes. You can follow me on Instagram, Sam Drinks Water again, and I'm on Twitter at Samuel Robinson J. Give me a follow. Go give the Western Herald a follow at Western Herald on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Yeah, man, that's it. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to our next selection. Then we're going to get into the Joyride Mix. We're just going to ride out for at most 30 minutes with some good music. But to start that off, we're going to get into Wale, Double M Genius.